Hello guys, this is Caronte and I'm going to make a new tutorial on trees this time. After posting the last video on the Godot subreddit, someone asked for a tree tutorial and I'm going to do it. I'm not going to butcher your name. Hopefully there's an image of the post in the screen right now. So thanks for the suggestion and let's get on with it. First thing first, I have to make a very small change to my previous script. Here I had get node, and if I change it, you can see that everything works. There's no problem, but the debugger is complaining about node not found. It doesn't matter because since it's not found, it's not getting inside the if, so there's no real problem. But having these warnings is a little annoying to me, and I don't know why I scripted this way. Well, probably because coding on screen is always weird. So if you make it with has node, it takes care of that. So now I only have these warnings that I assume is because of the alpha condition of the Godot 3, and that's everything fine and dandy, everything works, we have no problems. Okay, so we are going to use this as our frame for this tutorial. The first thing that we need is a new scene. I'm going to make a control, and just to keep with the scene, I'm going to use it like quest list control. I'm going to save my scene into my scenes as quest list window. And done. I'm going to import my previous window because it's done. No need to repeat anything. I'm going to change the title to quest tree quest list window, and I'm going to feed it to the parent. I'm going to lock the parent. I'm going to move the parent, and everything is working, and we have a window that can be placed. Let's change one of these, delete the node and add a new instance, scenes list, quest list. Okay, I didn't save it. Save. And now we have our two windows that should behave. And they do. So now in our new quest list control, we are going to add a tree. Tree added. I'm going to feed it to the parent. I'm going to feed it to the parent. I'm going to tell him to expand and expand. The margins are going to be 0 and 0. What's going on? Why are you not? Okay, whatever. And I'm going to unlock that stuff, grab the tree and make it contain within the window, just as we did with the text. I'm going to leave the black background for now. We can change it later, but this way we're going to be able to see everything pretty fine. So if everything is done correctly, I can resize this window, and the tree will be always where I put it. So now on with the tree. We need a script here, create. We're going to delete all this stuff. And the first thing that I've noticed with the tree is that the inspector doesn't have anything to try the tree. You cannot add text anywhere, as far as I can tell. You can change a lot of stuff, but there's no, no text thing to add. So the tree component is pretty easy to work with. We just need to get a hold on the node. Quest tree equals get node. I'm going to copy the path, paste it, done, and let's work this out. So the tree doesn't do anything by itself. What it needs is 3 items. So we need to create, for example, a root. How do we create the root? We call the node and tell it to create an item. And we have the root. Root set text 0 root done. Work. We have a root and that's it. The next question is, what's this 0? Well, that's the column. I'm going to talk more about columns in a moment, but I already recorded this tutorial and I did something that I hate when I see in other people's tutorial. That is simplify things to the point where it's not useful anymore. And I'm not going to do that, so you'll have to bear with me. I'm going to set up a very, very simple example in 1 second, and we are going to complicate things in a moment. So var section 1, it's equal to quest tree. And this time, when we create the item, we can give it a parent. So the parent of every section is going to be the root. Root. Section 1, set text, column 0, section 1. Let's repeat the process for section 2, section 2, section 2, section 2. And in the middle, let's create item 1 is quest tree create item. The root for this item is going to be the section 1. Item 1 set text 0 item 1. Let's create a second item here. Item 2 is going to have as parent the very same section 1. And let's copy this around and make item 4 is going to have as parent the section 2, and item 5 is going to have as parent section 2. So now we have a tree with sections that can be collapsed and that work perfectly. So that's all great. Most of the times we don't want to show that root, so let's fix that in a second. Quest tree show set root, set height root. That's it. True. Great. So now we have the basis of our tree. Let's get on with the columns so we can, understand why the 0 and all that stuff. My quest tree right now is going to have set columns equals to, let's say 3 for the sake of it. So section 1 set text. The first column is going to be the name. The second column is going to be reward, for example, and section 1 set text. The third column is going to be time left, for example. We are going to repeat this for the section 2. And now we have the columns. So every item is going to have these 3 columns. As any array, it starts in index 0, index 1, and index 2 for a total of 3 items. And we can work with every single cell in a very, very independent way. It's pretty easy, okay? So what do I mean when I said that people tend to make the tutorials very, very easy and not complex, making them like very, very trivial? Because this information you can have reading through the docs. That's not the problem. If I do an F1, you look for the tree class description, and here you have, all the methods and all that stuff. That's the information that you can get your hands on very, very easily. The problem here is not how to populate the tree, but rather how to work with the tree. So I'm going to get rid of all these columns because, they are not very useful for the example that I'm going to show you. And they don't add anything. Once you understand how this works, it will work with anything, and you'll be fully capable of implementing any kind of column setting, anything like that. So this is working, only 1 column, great. Your tree usually is something that wants to reflect a more complex structure, okay? So we are going to fake that structure. We are going to pass that function, and we are going to create fake data. Our fake data is going to have real data. Let's say bar quest list is going to be a dictionary, and our fake data, this can all go. Our fake data is going to have, let's say, quest list completed for the quest that we already have completed, and quest list ongoing for the quests that are ongoing. Pretty easy. And now we can add quests to this stuff. Let's begin with quest list completed, append quest 1, 2, and 3, ongoing, quest 4, and 5. Let's leave it at that. So right now I have a dictionary with more data. Okay, it's not just taping the items by themselves. Let's call the fake data, and now what I need is to make the tree show this data. Func show quests data. The first thing that I need is the root, right? Var root. Well, okay. Let's do it this way, and I'll get to the stupid things later. Quest tree. Create item. Quest tree hide root true, and now we have a dictionary with elements, right? For section in quest list. Sorry for the coughing. Bar section item, it's equal to quest tree. And as you can imagine, I only need to create the item with the parent as root. and section item set text for the column 0 is going to be section. Done. Now, well, actually, now it's not going to do anything. Append. I need to call show quests quest list. Okay. So now we have completed an ongoing. Let's get on with the quests themselves. For quest ID in quest list section, actually in range size, because being an array, I will not be able, to traverse through the for loop like in the dictionary. I need to go, item by item. So var quest item, it's equal to quest tree create item. Now the root is going to be the section where it belongs. Section item, and the quest item set text column 0, and the information that is going to be quest ID. Done. Easy working. So that was not a big leap by any means, and we can check it on the main. So we have our quest list, our detail, but this is very little information, because right now what I have is, let's say, the quest title, but how many times are you going to have this kind of structure? That's a very weird structure to have. Usually what you will have is something more complex, okay? So more complex as in what? Let's make a new script, and I'm going to save it as classes quest class. So now I create a quest class. This quest class is going to have all the information relevant to the quest. For example, title. For example, var time limit, var completed, whatever you need to have stored in the quest class. Usually there's a function that acts as a constructor, which is init, but I found very inconsistent for example, if you are creating this kind of quest class, the problem that you are going to face is how to set a title but not a time limit nor a completion, or a title and a completion but not a time limit, because it's not relevant anymore. So usually the way I go about it is to do a func constructor, and here I make a params equals whatever. Title is equals to generic title if params doesn't have title in it, else params title, for example. So I can copy this and do it like this. Time limit 0, completed false. This is going to be time limit. This is going to be completed. This is going to be time limit. Let's copy and paste. let's copy. So right now, what I can is call this function as quest constructor, and within the dictionary, I can make title is equals to whatever the title, and completed, it's equals to true, for example. And the time limit will be, self-set to 0. Or I can, just make the title or whatever. I have 3 different components that are mutually independent, and that way I can have an object class, an object quest that has all these parameters well defined and that can be initialized as whatever I want. So let's keep this thing simple. Set title t title equals t. Probably you want to check that t exists and all that stuff. Func get title, return title. I usually like to do a set get, set title, get title. So I always know, the names of the access points, and I don't mess around with the variable itself. So now I have my quest object. What am I going to do with my quest object? This is going to be, I don't want that. I need a new script. This time is going to be here, and it's going to be my global. In this global, what I'm going to do is to set a constant sorry, the call, holy cow. Quest class, it's equal to preload res quests, quest not class, there we go. That way I can call this kind of class from wherever. I only need to go to the project settings, go to autoload, my path is this global, the name is global, and done. It's a singleton, so it can be called wherever. Now let's do our fake data in a more compelling way. So the thing that I'm going to append now is going to be global quest class new constructor title equals quest 1 and done. I don't know if it's going to let me do everything within the append. Let's try, and it's not let. This is complaining about 21. What's wrong in 21? Okay, because it doesn't have. I didn't adapt this part. We're going to roll with this and see if it lets me. I'm not really sure. I usually don't do it this way because this is a really weird way of going about it. But for the example, it's pretty useful. Done. Done, and done. So bracket, and bracket. So now that I have an object here, my set text is no longer this kind of stuff. This kind of stuff is going to give me my object, so it's going to be get text. See how this array now, these arrays now have quest class objects. So it's not going to, there's no text here available. I need to call for it. Okay, probably a better way of doing this, more clear way, is to var quest. So now there in quest I have my object, my quest object, and I only ask for my text, my title. Let's try that out. It's complaining get title. So it didn't allow me to do all this inside here. Var q equals new q constructor, and I add q. Okay. And let's do exactly the same. Q is equal to all this stuff. Except for the constructor. Q constructor Q. And let's forget about this right now. The coughing is real. So as you can see, now it's letting me do whatever I want. Let's copy this stuff here and just change the 2s for 3s, the 2s for 4s, twos for 5s. Okay, so now we have a dictionary with 2 items, completed and ongoing, and each item is going to have an array of objects, of quest class objects, and I'm getting the title of the quest out of them. I'm putting that in the tree. What's here? Forgot this one. So it looks the same. It exactly looks the same, but the way of constructing the tree, it's very much powerful, because right now I'm not, hard coding anything. I'm just getting any data at all, and as long as the object that I'm passing has the get title, I'm golden. Okay, but now with the more interesting part, which is, well, the tree by itself, it doesn't do anything. Okay, I can deploy and hide the items, but they don't do anything. The thing that we will pretty much want to do is to have something like in the main screen, and whenever I click the quest 2, this window reflects my election or whatever, or maybe I have a separate attachment in the very same window, or there are a million things, but I need for these items to do something. Okay, so in the tree as a class, it's pretty easy to make them do stuff. You go in the tree, you go on your signals, and you go to cell selected. You click it, connect, and there you have a new method that has the trigger. Okay, so what do I get within this method? Well, what I get is print cell quest tree get selected. And now I can ask for some stuff. For example, the text, the tooltip, whatever I have within these items here. This quest item that is being defined with these two lines. So right now I'm only giving a text. So that's the only information that I have. Get, and here you can have all the information. And what I was missing is I have the instance ID, which doesn't help a lot if you don't know exactly in which order the tree is given. Maybe if you want to change something within the tree, for example, when you click, well, I have the code unfinished, and that's, let's get the text, for example, get text, the column 0. So the ID is fine if you want to, you know, push this this item and change the background of the item or the text of the item or something like that. For that, the ID is pretty useful. But since you have the item itself, do you really need that ID? I mean, I already have the item. For example, what I can do is set text clicked, because this is the quest tree item. That's exactly that. Okay, so I can change the text right there. I need the column. Done, clicked, 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 and you can see down here that I'm getting the text prior to my clicked, and now the text is clicked. So quest 1 is going to give me clicked, and you know, it can make for some kind of game if you feel like it. But my point is, with this get selected, what you have is the item. And right now, the only information that that item has is, one, the place that it has within the tree, and that's not very useful. And the second information that it has is the text that I've set for the item. So what I think is really powerful is a third option, and that's quest item. I can add metadata for the column 0. And what kind of metadata I could add that will help me? Well, for a start, I could give it quest, for example, get ID, if I had that method. Okay, so let's say that every single class that I have has an ID, and I have a set ID, get ID. Okay, I'm going to make them func set ID pass, just for kicks. Okay, so if it has any form of identification, you could pass the ID. So you could, you know, ask to the quest list class that has all the classes in the world to fetch that ID, or a database, or whatever. The other way around it, the other interesting part, is to pass the quest itself as a reference. Why not? That's pretty useful. So in my metadata field, I will have a reference to the object itself. So right now, what I can do is to ask for the item. Let's get var quest tree item. It's equal to that. Okay. Now var quest. The quest itself is my quest tree item. Get metadata for the column 0. And once I have the quest, I can always say quest.get title, for example. See, I have the title, but I'm not getting the title as in the text within the quests. I'm getting the title from the quest itself. So I can change here my the appearance of my items in the tree, see, with the dashes, but my title remains the same because that's not the tree item, it's the quest title itself. And once you have that quest, it's pretty easy to make a system to show the details. Signal quest detail requested, for example. Requested. I'm going to clear that. Well, this is very messy. The way I will go about it is, get rid of this and just like that, okay? So emit signal quest detail requested, and as a parameter I'm going to pass the quest. Let's, for the sake of the tutorial, var quest. So right now I'm emitting a signal requesting the details for the quest, and I don't pass an ID or anything like that. I pass the whole quest as a reference. This is you have to be aware that when you pass an object like this as a reference, any script can change the contents of this object. That's important to note. But other than that, it's pretty much okay. It's pretty fine. So you can either handle the details right here, or probably it's better to handle it, for example, in the main. So I will make a script in the main screen. I will get the quest on ready var quest list equals to get node quest list control. Now I have the node of the quest list. I'm going to get the node of the quest detail, quest detail control, and what I'm going to do is to on the ready function connect my quest list connect on quest detail requested self on quest detail requested. That's going to call the function quest detail requested here in the main script whenever I get this quest detail requested signal that is emitted by the quest list control right here. Okay, so my function on quest detail requested, remember that is going to give me the quest. Right now what I can do is to say print quest detail quest get title. Let's give it a shot. Bam, quest detail, quest 2. As expected, quest 3, quest 4, quest 5. Now we only need to link this signal that I'm receiving in main with my quest detail window. And that's going to be pretty easy. I only need to go to my quest detail control, open my quest detail control. I don't know what I have here. Whatever. Did I do this? I don't remember doing it. So, well, actually, I need this. Okay, it's from the last time I recorded this tutorial that I was doing it like without the class part, but I think this is important because this way you can, not only know how to form the tree, but form it with objects that you are likely going to have, and link all those pieces together. So right now what I have is my quest details, which is this quest text, okay? And what I want to do is to make a function that alters this text. So function set quest details quest. For example, I'm going to pass the whole quest. So quest details set BB code, set text. I'm not sure if it's text or BB code. Let's try with title plus quest get title, for example. So now that I can change my, now that I can change the contents of quest list, the quest details from this script, I have access to that within my main. Okay, so within quest details, I can do quest details set quest details quest, and that should change my quest details. As you can see, it's pretty easy. Once you understand how to form the tree, and that every item can have not only the text that is showing, but this metadata, which is the most cool part of it. This metadata is going to allow you to pass, object or identifications for database access, anything at all. You can link, this metadata, whatever it is, with a signal and operate with that information elsewhere. So quest list control only takes care of receiving the data, which will be received by fake data. For example, I can take this out of here. This is the look that it will have in my world. Okay. List control, quest list, out of there, right here. So quest, okay. So now my quest list control doesn't have the list. What does it doesn't have? Let me phrase it differently. It doesn't have anything that makes mention of the data, because this component is not supposed to have the data. This is only a way of showing data. The data is coming from elsewhere. In this case, it's going to come from main, where I have my main logic. I wouldn't do it like this in my project. Main will be only a way to display the data that is coming from elsewhere too. So I will have, like a main class or game class that have all the quest list and all the timers and, the health of the player and all that stuff, but whatever. My point is here, I only have ways to operate with the data that is given to me. So I'm going to make sure, because right here I have reference to quest list instead of data. I don't know why I have it this way, but I'm going to change that in a second. Now everything is operating on this data that I'm passing, and the only thing I need to do is to call for fake data here and pass quest list show data quest list. Okay, is that show quests is the show quests. So the data is going to be elsewhere. Here I only manage how the tree is formed and what signals is outputting. And this signal is handled elsewhere because I don't have this controller doesn't control the details of the quest. Sometimes you want to show the details. Sometimes you want to check if the quest is accepted to show the details or whatever. That's all, handled elsewhere. It doesn't matter. Right here, the only thing I'm doing is with this data, show me this tree, and if the player clicks anything, show the request. So the request is handled here. Here we could have, some logic. Like if you have access to the quest, maybe you have items in the tree that you don't want to show the details for, or there are details that you want to be hidden until whatever condition is met. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that the information is not handled here. So if I run my main, it can break. That's a possibility. What did it break? Global. That shouldn't break. Quest list already exists. Oh, okay. It's the same name. So quest list window is going to be the quest list control. Quest list window. That's the quest list, and that's about it. Let's try again. And now, see, everything works. And my quest list window is like really, really, really small. If you look at it, it's really, really small. So anything I want to change in the aspect of the quest list window, like if I want to add more columns or check, for example, add a column with a button, with a check button that tells me if the quest is completed or not, or if I want to check for the time left or whatever, that's really easy to handle here. And the only thing is that all the time I'm going to get the metadata in the column 0 where my quest object is, and I'm going to pass it to whoever needs that information, that it's not the quest list control. So I know that it was a lot easier when I had, all hard coded, and it was, pretty intuitive, but I'm all for tutorials that show more complex stuff and that shows how to go about it, because sometimes people don't know how to really approach these things and begin to think about how to store the data and all that stuff. And how to store the quest list, for example, is a whole thing on itself. How are you going to store it, access it, sort the data? I don't know if I said it on the beginning, but the reason why I have these items be arrays instead of dictionaries, which could be dictionaries too, is because the arrays can be sorted. That's why I have the arrays. And you can create custom sort orders that way. I have in my own project a function that compares quest class items between themselves. So I can sort the array by time left or by difficulty or by completed or by whatever. So you can create, custom sorting systems within the array system that Godot offers, which is a pretty powerful thing. So, those are the kind of decisions that you have to make. And when you are constructing something like this tree, You need to know how your data is going to be stored, how you can access it. Here you can, traverse the dictionary this way. Here you need to traverse the array this way. Whatever. You had to take all the decisions, and I only show, a more complex example than the one that you can have on the documentation already. I hope it was helpful. I hope that you liked it, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.